My producer was nervous to say something that'd get us all fired, so I'll just save that thought and we'll talk about Admiral later. For now, we got Jake, we got ZP. We've got a lot of fun in store for us because we're going to Europe for a grand final with $600 or more on the line. You guys could donate to that prize pool as you can every week here on the night shift. Jake, though, as the CFO, why do you feel it's important to keep paying these kids?
Look, I mean, you know, it's obviously we hope someday Deadlock really expands into an esport where people are winning, you know, millions of dollars, huge cash prizes at LAN events, but we're in the early days. And so it's just nice to be able to have this consistent tournament, you know, week in, week out. There's an opportunity for the best players to showcase their skills. There's something you can train for, something you can work towards. And for the best players in the world, something that you can maybe earn a little bit of money on the side doing, especially as we kind of wait for Deadlock's release. Obviously, a lot of excitement around potential new patches that could be dropping soon. So it's just nice to have something consistent here and now for the community. And to that end, that consistency, I also want to thank our patrons doing a huge part in terms of making sure we can put this show together week in, week out. And obviously a lot of love, Tetsuo and Matthew S, $250 a month here. Our night shift board members, massive, but not to be forgotten. Affex, executive at $100.
Yes.
Quite a few solid managers and a ton of residents and chiefs. You know, honestly, any amount helps, right? Like not everyone's going to be in a position to donate a ton of money every month, but this really does add up, and it goes directly towards our budget to put these events on every single week here in the community.
And as soon as you started talking about this, Chrisana drops off a 10 gifted in the chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. All of the money from the donations are going directly to the prize pool. All of the money that goes into subs, that's paying the people behind the scenes who get the show done. So thank you all for supporting the channel. ZP, with that said, let's get into the EU Grand Final. Leviathan, squeaky bum time, but they squeaked through our challenger matchup. Now they're taking on Abrahams, who don't fuck around. They play with the Abe whenever they can, and they lay down the hammer with a bunch of people. So what do you have to look forward to in this fight for Abraham?
I mean, from Abrahams, they are just the top of the top in EU right now. You want a team with the best in class mechanical skill? They got it. You want a team that's battle tested as far as really good macro? They got it. You want a team that has really deep hero pool depth that is difficult to ban out? Yeah, you also got that, especially since they added Dimov, where he was Mr. Flex for buff enjoyers and now has brought that and more to Abrahams. I mean, look, this has been the top team in EU for a reason, and I think with some of the changes that they've made, especially getting Dimov onto the roster, they don't even have the old weakness that they used to have of like, oh, you know, just ban Shiv and see what Together does. Even Together's gotten more versatile in recent times, so, you know, it's basically the new EU super team, and, you know, realistically, even though I think Leviathan has a lot of talent and they have gone toe-to-toe with Abrahams and other roster variations, it is a tough task to take on this team.
They have been juggernauts at the top. They're battling back and forth with buff enjoyers. Since buff enjoyers disappeared, this has been your top dog in the EU region. They've got a lot of Russian talent. They're loved. And I saw someone asking, when will you guys start doing Russian content? Maybe get some Russian casters. I got a better question. Do any of you nerds out there work with computers and understand AI? Because I pitched this idea to Jake, and he fucking loves it, right? We're going to turn ourselves into, like, the cat people. Like, what do they call them? Emojis, B-mojis. We're going to speak Russian. We're going to drink vodka. We're really just going to take our previous vodka and just throw it through the AI machine, and it'll translate it for you. But we could turn it into a whole show if Jake's down for it.
That would go way too crazy. That would go way. Imagine like the Russian AI trying to translate all these like made up Deadlock words and just absolute chaos coming out the other side.
I think it'd be phenomenal. If you guys think that product is worth investing in, let ZP know. I just found out today he officially is the owner of our company. If you need to rob us, go to ZP's house. Let's talk about the opposition for the Abrahams on the other side of the fight tonight. It's the Leviathans. We've got a regular face to a night shift grand finals in Obikim, but we got Fremok alongside him, Flammable, Osis, Empty Dreams, and ZP's favorite overseas. Without talking about overseas, tell me about Leviathan, ZP.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other things to look at here for Leviathan, non-overseas related, OCs on the Mirage got real far in the last game, also put out a ton of damage, just overshadowed by the playmaking ability and some of the sloppy macro. Obakim, of course, we've seen his versatility going back to the Buff Enjoyers days. And look, I mean, Fremont, has good games, bad games, everything in between. At one point, though, was kind of the heart and soul between the Aegis Aurora team at the beginning of the year. That was, at one point, the top team in the EU. Yeah, they had a guy that was aimbotting 1.2, but, we don't have to get too much into that. Fremont still looked good as a frontliner.
Wait, his teammate was aimbotting?
Yeah, Kenny F may have had a little bit of artificial assistance in there.
Kenny was a cheater all along? How do we find out?
It was a multi-step process, and then he got flown to one win headquarters for a LAN and had one of the worst performances of all time in Deadlock.
Oh, we love that.
After the poor LAN performances, kind of yeah, dude was probably not legit.
Yeah, hacker. We just had a guy over in Call of Duty Awakening got hit with Ricochet mid-scrim. Ricochet is the Activision anti-cheat client, which is fucking amazing because there had been accusations amongst this guy for several years, and finally he gets banned out. Fuck you, Awakening. Fuck you, cheaters. Let's go on with this match tonight. We got the Russian VTuber stream coming in week 2, according to all of my friends in chat. We're going to make it happen for the Ruskies. We got Sentai Lu signing up with the Prime. We've got Phone Fried, Roshin, Gun Kid with the Prime, Sway SD, Rongot, Sika, and more. I can't read my own handwriting because I'm so excited for this draft. We asked Solomon to speed up the process, and god damn it, my ADHD is thriving right now. Let's take a look at our first band for the Abrahams. They're getting rid of the Vindicta. The blue feet are out. What else is going out, Jake?
It's a tough call right now. I feel like the meta has actually shifted kind of significantly in the early builds of a lot of these heroes, and I think that's changed somewhat. Prio, I would still expect something like Kelvin to be taken out, though. It's just kind of no matter what you do. This time, though, it's the Mirage. So Abraham's opportunity to grab the Kelvin if they do want it and kind of dominate some of these objectives. We'll see if that is what they prioritize.
Zeeper, expectations?
Shiv. It's Abraham's. Shiv is still good. True. He was still #1 pick last
Together
game.
Would like to play.
Shiv. No, it's Billy. Okay. Billy's also up there. So
I think it's surprising though, right? For somebody like Together to and it's probably is a Together hero, right?
Yeah, Billy's just that good right now. Billy is actually awesome, and that is very viable. Shiv is going to come on the backside here, and I guess Wraith. So Wraith Shiv. If it's not Shiv, then I don't even know. Also, I think the problem here is that frontline-wise, you're either giving up Billy Shiv or Billy Abrams, and either way, that's going to suck for Leviathan, just to be blunt.
I mean, Leviathan could grab it. Yeah, they grab it themselves, the Shiv. And actually, I like the Shiv here because even if you give up some strong frontliners, it's like these big, tanky, heavy frontliners are kind of vulnerable to the executes from Shiv, right? Like you stacking a ton of HP. It's not terrible against Shiv, but he is probably better at dealing with it than most characters in the game. And Abrahams are going to go for that, Billy Abrams, heavy front line. I wonder if they don't grab the Kelvin now, because I feel like you need to deny it at this point. You can't give up Shiv Kelvin, surely.
They're going to go Paradox. I've seen this story before.
Mirage. I think
Mirage Man.
Or, okay, Furnace.
Okay. A shooty boy.
Mirage.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Mirage got banned. You're right.
Yeah. So they just want damage, and they choose to deal with Shiv this way, but I mean, this is giving Shiv Kelvin through, and I don't know if the changes are enough to really take that off the cards as one of the top strats, top lanes. It is, though, apparently. Okay.
Leviathan could have went with it last game. It was on the table last game, for the other side, and they didn't decide to go for it. So, the problem with Kelvin right now is that it's two things. A, is that Dome is, a real, actual, once in a every now and then ult between, its cooldown nerfs and then the general CDR changes. And Kelvin's laning is actually kind of rough. He is actually throwing snowballs by hand at this point. The velocity got hit into the ground. So, between the two, it's been a little bit less prio. Even last week, Kelvin got picked twice out of 6 games. I think it's an overreaction. I think Kelvin's actually still really good, but teams are still in the weird mental of maybe you want it, maybe you don't. Then give it 2 weeks till people realize, oh wait, he's still good.
The pocket though also gives a lot of playmaking options and makes your life a little bit scary for heroes like Billy and Abrams, right? I kind of like the setup Leviathan have. They have a lot of ways they can initiate with a pocket, Affliction, and then Shiv, Wraith, Bebop, all kind of poking around the sides looking for kills. That being said, if Abrams, if they catch you at a certain point in this game, Billy and Abrams, if they get the gap closes down and start locking you down, you could be in real trouble for Leviathan. And Paradox is going to be, about the best it gets in exactly that role in the team, right? Finding and catching targets.
But I knew Abrahams were going to play the Paradox if they were able to. ZV, can you explain the Sinclair ban? Is he that good right now?
Sinclair is really good. I mean, not only did he benefit a lot from the 4.8k Spirit Spike, so Vexing Bolt, which already hit like a truck, you know, added a few extra wheels to the entire chassis, but he also can swap twice off the Spectral Assistant, so his ability to be like really tricksy went up even more. But Abraham's is going a little bit different than, okay, last game, no supports. This game, Paige gets picked and Leviathan goes, oh, we didn't pick a Paige or a Kelvin last game, but now we want to match like support for support. So absent in game 1, very much here in game 2.
I'm very curious to see if this Shiv Kelvin works out as good as we are used to it working out, because if it's a really dominant lane, I think that will probably shift the pick prio easily for the rest of the series and maybe even into NA, see if the value priority is a bit different. But Leviathan also grabbing this holiday, so they've got a lot of catch, a lot of initiate themselves. The team fight looks good, and Abraham's respond with a dynamo.
Dynamos in a video game on purpose?
Quadrupling down on like this overwhelming front line. I also think Black Hole is really good against Pocket, right? It gives you an ultra solid lockdown, almost guaranteeing that kill, since Pocket just does not have the tankiness to survive through. It also actually allows you to escape Kelvin Dome, right? You can, I think it's the only way in the game that you could, besides Doorman, that you could pull people out of the dome is, you know, with that quantum entanglement. So this could actually be pretty interesting.
Chat, I don't know if you guys are oohing and ahhing for the Kelvin pick, the Page pick, or the Dynamo, but I do know you should take that energy that you are spamming in the chat right now, convert it into an Amazon Prime sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime subs, which cost you nothing to give us money. All you got to do is take action every 30 days. It's really annoying, but we appreciate it. Here we go. The game is ready. Holiday locked in. Dynamo is locked in. Who's got the better comp, CP, Leviathan or Abrahams for game 1 in our best of 3?
You know, I'm looking at, I still actually think Abraham's, purely because I think Billy Abrams on the other team is just so miserable to deal with. Like, that front line is absolute hell. Dynamo is sort of interesting because, as you can attest by looking at pub win rates and just if you've played against him at all, like, he is the world's angriest, like, professor that's also a toddler who's stomping his feet every 2 seconds in lane for really good poke damage off kinetic. So, like, Dynamo's laning is significantly better than it was previously. It's more so the front line that terrifies me. Also, for Leviathan, the part that I'm trying to wrap my head around is that Overseas is both the Bebop player and the Holiday player, and Overseas is not going to play both, so there's definitely going to be a little bit of a curveball there. I didn't necessarily expect the Holiday to come in after they locked in the Bebop, but they just want all the catch in the world.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is your European Championship with a minimum of $600 on the line. Abraham's taking on Leviathan. Week 17 of the night shift. Ding, ding, on the mic, it's ZP with Jake from the US of A. He's in your house with a ripped tire. Tell your mother.
You know, Jake, I look at that. We had to remind the people that you are from America. Like, you never know. You're very Canadian. Not at all.
I'm giving Canada. I'll take that. I'll take that. You know, it's nice to be ambiguous these days as an American. You know, you want to have a little plausible deniability at times, especially in Europe. You know, you gotta keep it general. Or no, I'm from California. ZP, you gotta be specific.
You're oot in a boot, actually. Never gone the other thing, but
boot that.
Grab some Timmies while you're at it. But okay, we're getting into the game here, and all right, taking a look at the lanes here. Yeah, you have the old standby in the left-hand side for Abrahams. It's Page Billy.
Yeah, Page Billy. I think that's going to be a pretty dominant lane, especially with Pocket Wraith. That strikes me as a very weak lane, one that could be vulnerable to a punish, especially, you know, off the back of these Soul Orb changes. You can't just sit deep behind your tower. Now, you kind of do need to maybe posture a little bit more forward than that. But on the other side, Shiv Kelvin could give just as effective a test for the other side. And Furnace, though, could, you know, be a real damage that through it. You can't just man up through that afterburn. Even somebody like Shiv needs to be a bit cautious about that.
Also, I mean, the poke coming in from Dynamo is pretty significant. Like, you actually have to be very mindful in lane to have either a dodge option or good spacing, or you will just lose HP from trades versus stomp. Like, I think Dynamo's probably getting a little bit more mileage right now game-wide than he should, just because, you know, you think back, Jake, the last time you had to respect Dynamo is when his gun was like one of the best guns in the game, and you gotta go pretty deep into the annals of history to get back to that stage of Dynamo.
I kind of like the lane of the Dynamo plus Infernus because you sort of want to dodge these two heroes in opposite ways. Like for Infernus, it's all about playing behind cover, you know, just not letting him get those afterburn stacks. But for Dynamo, I feel like you kind of want to be out in the open, like standing tall up on a high ground and just doing what damage you can and like staying away from that stomp, not giving you any angles. So I think that's kind of could be a tough lane. But then again, this is Shiv Kelvin. Like, they can take a stomp or two, they can take some burns. They're going to be able to tolerate that kind of pressure, no problem.
Also, mid lane's a little bit interesting. You don't have a standard double poke lane there. You got Holiday with Bebop up against Paradox Abrams. So, you know, it's much more of a positioning battle that you're getting there than the usual just, you know, balls to the wall, you know, drop a Mirage Yamato and, you know, let God sort it out. So, mid lane is actually really, really interesting to me so far because, you know, realistically with those heroes in lane, it could go either way off either a hook or just, you know, a charge off Abrams.
As we come into a pause, looks like it may just be a minuscule one. I already got an R in chat from Freemock, and we're right back into this. Neither team wants to be the one to make a mistake, but this Leviathan squad, I really think, you know, the addition of some of these extra players, especially somebody like Obakim, this could be a really interesting team to give Abrahams a test. And I wonder, is Abrahams really at the peak of their effectiveness, right? Given they haven't really been challenged, and here comes a challenge. Hook 100 tower from overseas puts a lot of damage into this Paradox, who luckily for now, Taz is able to slip away, but definitely too close for comfort. And Leviathan have a small but meaningful lead, I think, in just 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, it takes a little bit longer to get the mid Guardian, but this is a pretty good start. I mean, from mid often goes the entire game, but, you know, look at the mid pressure, which has gone a little bit more towards Leviathan. Gotta take a look at the left-hand side here where, you know, Abrahams, Page Billy, still one of the stronger lanes in the game, even after some of the Page nerfs that recently hit. And we'll see how that ends up panning out. But, you know, right now, taking a look at the right-hand side where it's been Shiv Kelvin, and it's up against Infernus and the Dynamo. And so far, Stomp's not a ton of problems. A little bit of burn here into Shiv as Shiv's HP actually, again, melted a bit. So, honestly, for how dominant Shiv Kelvin has been historically, not the worst performance so far from the Infernus Dynamo lane, which in ages past would have just gotten run over.
Obakim extremely low. I think he's cooking to the Infernus, just 1 HP there in that side lane. And so, as you were saying, yeah, that Infernus Dynamo could actually look like a pretty strong lane.
He's so low. He's dead. He's actually just dead. You just see the poking here and around, and I tell you, like, you don't respect it until you get some games in, but Stomp is such an obnoxious ability right now going against Dynamo. It's unreal.
EBL also finds Empty Dreams, so a couple of these key kills. Very early game lead for the Leviathan has kind of slipped away already. Now it's Abrahams, and they're going to be the team really tempoing into some of these first ultimates on the field, which could present some issues. You know, especially this Dynamo, I think you love to just be able to instantly go with your ultimate on cooldown. And with somebody like Infernus, right, those 2 ultimates on lane, even Shiv Kelvin, I don't think you can really tolerate that level of pressure, that amount of stun control with 2 ults back to back, just locking you down.
Also, you know, I look at the long game here, Jake, and I don't love Leviathan having the contest mid boss later on. Like, yeah, you have Dome, and maybe Dome is up in the like, it's on a way longer cooldown now. But trying to go mid versus Billy, Page, Dynamo, like that just seems all sorts of unpleasant, to be honest. If, like, to go mid for Leviathan, I think they're going to need like 3 or more down from Abrahams. And it's not going to be one of those games where it's like, oh, one person's down, go mid. I don't actually think you can do that this game.
Yeah, it's a great point. Like, Page Dynamo is a kind of ridiculous as we got Wraith pulled in, locked down. Great combo here from ABL and Saint. And Bailey is not a hero you want to let snowball into the game. Already, I think, a very strong start. One that it's a little scary for Leviathan to have to worry about now is, I mean, this is not a lane you can really pressure that much into. Are you, like, really going to come to the Page lane? And at the same time, if you don't, you're going to be losing your tower, and Billy's just going to be able to get active very early onto the map.
Again, I think even with the amount of action we've seen so far, you're seeing some of the impact of the changes where pre-patch, I think left-hand Guardian's probably already dead. Post-patch, it's just at half HP. Swap, though, off into the middle. See if Falter's going to be there. Quick charge by together. Just up the stairs. Nothing
nice
on the
out.
connection.
Yeah, Flammable, just no panicking. Just playing that one cool, calm, and collected. It is basically a lasso traded for the swap, so relatively even for now. I'm interested to see how Dynamo gets active with his ult. I feel like that's going to be the next flashpoint on this map. We talked about the difficulty of fighting this lane, but I guess not, man. The Affliction just overwhelms the friction and lift. I think ABL maybe just overplayed his hand there. Thought he couldn't be dealt with, but Page had left this lane, and so yeah, he was left all alone on the island, and still going to be too much. And that was just Black Hole onto the Kelvin. Take him out quick. Dynamo happy to get some value off the ultimate. Still, as you were saying though, ZP, like the tower is tanky. I don't know that you can stick around against a Shiv with Execute online.
No, you really have to pick and choose your moments, but honestly, the heal is not bad at all also.
Shiv.
I mean, now that Dynamo has a little bit of offense in lane, you actually feel the oppressiveness of healing Aurora, where it's just like, oh, okay, this is, you know, a little bit more pain. Like, overall lane progress here, and this is just how much can change in a few patches. This is a Shiv Kelvin lane that potentially is going to lose lane to Dynamo and Furnace. Like, they're well on their way right now, Jake, which, again, is a little wild as if you've been watching Deadlock for a significant period of time.
Yeah, and this Dynamo, I mean, maybe building into some powerful spirit items like that 4800 spike is going to be huge. He's going to be quite close to it. Had the spear buff to supplement the damage for the moment. Here comes Billy, though, trying to get some value. Gets parried. Nice find from Wraith, and that's actually going to keep Wraith up. Pagel also not going to be able to find kills. So OC's skillful parry keeps not only himself alive, but also probably the tower as well. Pretty significant, especially as he's coming up on that ultimate. ABL definitely has a tough decision of if he wants to commit into this pocket Wraith with ults coming online soon.
I think ideally you make a move here before Affliction is back underway, or in this case, you just do enough Guardian pressure. So Page,
Yeah, the
Billy,
tower's so low.
Yeah, you get the Guardian, but you need to do it then, like, because as soon as Empty Dreams gets Affliction back up, you know any sort of tower pressure is going to be met by Affliction, counter dive, and probably not a good time. But also, look at middle. Counter push here coming in from Abrahams, who's been on the losing end, but looking for an opportunity now.
Yeah, and Billy,
Oh,
see if he rotates over to this now that the tower's down, maybe wants to get into one of these bigger team fights. But Bebop up in the skybox here, drops a laser from above. Abrams went incredibly deep for that kill, is just going to get absolutely beamed down by Overseas. Getting all the way up in the sky, getting max duration, great value off this Hyper Beam in the early game.
yeah, and that was even after Flammable, came in and whiffed the lasso, so still a reasonable end for Leviathan. So it could have been a little bit worse of that engage, but take a look at the left-hand side. You guys see what rotations we're going to get from Page Billy here. It's actually Abrams going to left, and it's either going to be Billy or Page coming into the middle to help shore things up here. This is a lane swap we've seen a lot where, if you win a lane, you go to other lanes to help them win more as the Affliction just gets dumped all over on to Tass.
Yeah, and Paradox probably going to be out of the fight for that. A lot of players still coming towards his mid lane. Seems like Billy, see if he wants to get into the action soon. I mean, he is basically the strongest hero on the map right now. I mean, this is a lot of pressure on ABL, but he's been so solid in this kind of role in the past, right? Taking the initiative. But right now, I mean, it's just Leviathan getting essentially a free Guardian here on the side of the map. The mid lane pressure is coming in, but Overseas is handling it beautifully, continuing to defend that.
Chain Gang comes out from ABL in on the middle. It's the full rotation in the middle, trying to short things up here from Abrahams. Don't know if ABL is able to catch anything off it, but you got 3-on-3 here in the middle as things heat up. I mean, ideally you preserve your middle Guardian, and look, if you're Billy Page, you win left. Moving them in the middle, I mean, it's a smart play, and I love the team's done this a little bit more, but ooh, Dynamo getting beamed on down. You got Hyper Beam, you got Frozen Beam, as it were. Senya, though, able to punish Shiv right away, so it turns into a bit of a trade.
Yeah, and I mean, even Shiv, right, getting cooked by Infernus, just deep into that fight. The Healbane also online. Together, instantly going to grab this urn here on the Abrams. Doesn't seem like they're going to be making any kind of genuine attempt to deliver, though. This early in the game, it's just maybe too difficult. That was also the Dynamo being used the last fight. Now, though, some action in the mid lane. Swap comes in. The counter hook just misses. That could have easily been a kill into Task, considering the follow-up right behind him. But Task, lucky to get away from that one.
And now, Jake, we're starting to enter into the era where people have had their 4.8k items, and you see people finally eating their vegetables. The green items start coming on board, as opposed to just going full glass cannon. So, yeah, your fights are going to be a little bit more extended here, but Abrahams, they like their team fight, and no Dynamo ult, no problem. You just got Saint rotating the urn over, as right now they're trying to keep the lane pushed up. If they get Guardian right before urn, it would be huge, but Leviathan, they're starting to rotate over too.
Definitely a lot of threat now. Urn turn-in being attempted. A fight also in the mid lane. Taz bounced around here. Seems like a lot of pressure here is on the urn. Affliction online. You got to be very careful trying to challenge his pocket. He's gone for now. Did get that Affliction up, but it doesn't seem to have connected.
No, it didn't hit anyone. Like, absolutely
I mean, I wonder if
no one.
If it like somehow popped after he cloaked.
Yeah, I mean, something weird happened. Or people just
was right next to
slightly out
them,
of
but
range.
yeah, I mean, Urn drop coming in. Great parry. Saint protects ABL. Now ABL's taking the fight straight in. Big value off these melees. The frozen shelter comes in, but it's just not nearly enough. They're staying alive, and now the shelter actually protecting the members of Abraham's from this over-the-top laser from overseas. Only one down, a 1-for-2 plus Urn. Great trade so far, and it might get even better than this. The burns are coming in. The parry on the Guardian to stay alive, taking a risk, challenging Shiv this low. The parry is enough, and Billy incredibly low. But a barrier from Paige, just way too much. Still, oh my, ABL sticking around for this. He's crazy.
ABL's just like, nah, man, I'm the GOAT. Quick melee towards the end, finally taken down by the final bomb, but still gets more value than expected. And I gotta say, that's kind of a double pain there. Not only is Obakim late on the frozen shelter, but I mean, frozen shelter, that's a big button now, Jake. Like, it used to be a big button with a low cooldown. Now it's a big button with a proportionate cooldown. You don't have that up for a significant period of time. So it makes moments like that where you frozen shelter effectively for nothing even more painful than they otherwise would be. Is the downside of Kelvin play right now.
Yeah, and right now it just feels like the amount of damage Abrahams can put down, like if Sonya is inside the frozen shelter, it's just not enough. Like, he is going to burn you down through it. He is going to deny those heals, especially as he builds into things like Toxic. There's heal banes available. I mean, you really aren't getting that much heal out of the frozen shelter, and we saw in that fight it ended up kind of protecting Abrahams, who are really strong in the kind of close quarters environment that frozen shelter creates. Speaking of that strength, here comes Billy taking it to Shiv. Even with Bebop coming in here to interrupt the 1v1, it might be enough, but huge barriers. Still, that hook could seal the deal now. Overseas desperate to finish this one. They put so much effort into the Billy kill. Surely they can find it here. Surely they can finish it, but Sonya now has turned this fight around. Empty Dreams does get the cleanup, but it's turning expensive.
Yeah, I think expensive is the operative word there. Is that part of the reason why Billy's so good is that, yeah, you can kill Billy, but there's so much of an example of at what cost as the teleporter barely kicks in time for Empty Dreams, who is Empty Dreams still under pursuit? Yeah. Right now you got Dynamo.
He's on the wrong side of town, man.
He needs to get away. Right now, the Dynamo's still chasing him down. Watch your feet, watch his stomp. Up and over, gets a little bit of...
He's doing so much damage despite running away, like still giving a lot of value. Oh, you hooked the wrong guy, but still the laser. Not enough follow-up and a few lockdowns for Holiday, but she's in a safe position. And some of these last few fights have started to slow Abraham's roll. I mean, they haven't been able to find the continuation kills that I think they were hoping for when they start the fight. In a hook from the Bebop. Beautiful catch on Saint.
That's a really big hook for more reasons. That not only do you get the pick off, but you get the setup here onto the dome. And if you get this kill too, you can bring this right into the walker here. A really good sequence of events here from Leviathan, set up by Overseas, who Holiday or Bebop, doesn't matter, playmaker and then some so far for Leviathan. But with all the members of Abrams coming into the left, it's not going to be a walker after all, Jake.
Yeah, and you had Abrams trapped in the Kelvin ulti, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, just too much tankiness. The team shows up, they bail him out, and that saves their walker as well, which is down to half HP. It's definitely something interesting we see now where I feel like these walker pushes, usually you're not getting it in just one push. Like, you might do a one push to put some hefty damage on it. The defense comes in and you may have to come back another day, but that damage progress is still going to be meaningful if you're able to capitalize at some point later in the game.
The other thing too is I feel like post-patch, it's so rare to ever see mid-walker go down, like as a raw thing without a mid-boss. Like, it just the stakes of going from mid is just so incredibly high. But okay, ABL.
And the mobility is crazy. He's hooked in deep there, and he just dashes out. Shiv can't get the lockdown on him.
I was talking with some pros recently too, and there's a general growing consensus of the idea that Billy is probably one of the best counter picks of Shiv. Like, Shiv is still really, really good, but Billy's like one of the few heroes in the game that actually doesn't mind being in Shiv's face and oftentimes can come out ahead with even just a little bit of support. So that may have been some of the method in the madness to first pick Billy and go, we give up Shiv. Because as much as Together likes it, I think Abrahams may just like the Billy versus Shiv matchup even more.
Yeah, and maybe, playing in this Dynamo also just redoubles the value of the front line. Just Leviathan aren't able to stand toe-to-toe into it. As you were saying, ABL cleans up Fremont there. A couple high impact kills. They're lucky that Leviathan have the Urim. They're kind of defending it, blocking it, because this should be a free turn in for Abrahams. But instead, Leviathan is going to play the walkers, wait this one out, look for the respawns. OC's on the Wraith has been relatively quiet this game. And remember, this is a very early draft pick for the Wraith. So there's some questions to be asked, I think, about when Wraith is going to really get active in this game and start to turn things around, but we will need that sooner rather than later, as there's almost a 10k soul lead for Abrahams right now.
Yeah, although on the same note, for soul allocation, OCs has been running some crooked gambling ranks. 20,000 souls on the Wraith, the most farmed in the game, even Leviathan otherwise being behind. So, you know, that's kind of the X factor here, is that OCs gets farmed. It's the one thing that OCs always does, and that can be scary onto the Wraith, but here we go, in onto the side lane. Pressure here, onto the Paradox, Holiday, to and fro goes Flammable. Flammable, though, bit off a little bit more than they could chew there. End up getting punished, 2 down for Leviathan, and this turning into a really good Walker push potentially here from Abrahams as the urn is picked up once more.
Maybe this time it will be a turn in. Players down for Leviathan. Abraham's in control. Pockets here, though. Forces the urn drop, but is locked down just to hell and back, though. Maybe it's a bait overseas once again. This Bebop laser is getting so much done in this game. Incredibly low on together. Abrams just enough tankiness to survive through here. That passive doing double duty. Shiv, though, oh, what a hero for the cleanup. Ultimate pop from Page doesn't get a connection onto that Shiv. He's able to dance away, but they're trying to run him down. They've got Billy with the chain. Shiv cannot stop for anything here.
Saint got the urn,
should just be dead to rights. Yeah, oh, that's nice value. Billy would love to clean up this Shiv. They're coming into assist, though, and now maybe it's Together and ABL who've gone too far.
Well, ABL's deep, but ABL's going off the other way. They didn't have no interest in chasing down the GOAT. And while that was going on, I mean, Saint was able to go in, get the urn turn in, add even more to the Abrahams lead. So, all in all, not a bad exchange for Abrahams. They're not able to get much in the way of Walker damage, but they are able to turn the kills into an urn. And you take a look at the Walker state of battle, yeah, you don't get in one push anymore for the most part, Jake, but in this instance, you know, Abrahams has done a way better job of whittling down Leviathan. So, you know, for Leviathan, one more lost fight is potentially going to lead not to one lost Walker, but 2 lost Walkers, maybe a lost mid-boss. So Leviathan's teetering on the edge more than it may look like right now.
Yeah, you talked about the significance of that mid-boss contest rather in this composition, where that's where Leviathan, it's going to be awkward for them. You know, I don't think Abrahams can attempt it if there's, you know, living players from Leviathan there to protest and like harass them in the mid-boss, but few kills come in and that could change very quickly. Shiv, nice little movement over the wall. Stomp comes in though, locking down the Shiv, knockdown as well. Over the top, gonna get the long stun on him, and Shiv gonna be bleeding out very soon here from that bloodletting. In real trouble here. See if the follow-up is good. And he's just gonna do what damage he can, but it likely won't be enough. Every tick of damage, yeah, it's just gonna overwhelm him. Saint's there to finish the job.
Also, Leviathan, they're collapsing here, but they're collapsing without a pocket. Pocket's not gonna be able to get that much on the left, and oh man, into the closet we go, back and forth. Billy fisticuffs. He'll fight you in the veil all day long. So you get the pick off there from Abrahams, 2 cleanly down. You're kind of near mid. In this instance, okay, you have Pocket off and left, and okay, I stand corrected. Pocket or no, Empty Dreams able to burn down the Walker, so they get the trade, but it's gonna come at mid-boss.
I think Empty Dreams needs to come try to afflict this. Needs to come try to put some pressure on, but mid-boss is dropping so quick. I'm not sure he's going to be there in time with the rejuve already dropping. And you've got the black hole as well. You can just lock in this contest. I don't really see any way Leviathan can contest that, and recognizing it. But Obakim is here. I mean, he's way too close to this. Was thinking they could get the contest us, but I don't think the rest of the team was on the same page. Maybe he's dancing away though. So all right, I stand corrected. Nice little distraction from Obakim.
He's dead.
He's dead.
I was just looking at that. You see like most of Abraham's down there at the mid boss, and you just see like this Kelvin like just fighting someone up top. I was like, wait, okay, why are you there, man? Like, I respect how, you know, looking at it may have come about, but that's a little bit tough to lose Obakim at the tail end of it.
Now, very scary moment for Leviathan. Abrahams, it's been really solid as a team and using these power plays. They do get a 1 Walker traded against them, but I think Abrahams are going to be hankering for a fight now. Especially this Dynamo. I mean, Dimov is going to be able to put out a ton of damage. A couple Divine Barriers up as well, so really difficult to actually finish these kills. I mean, you can deal with Affliction, you can deal with, you know, some of the Shiv bleeds, or save people when they're lassoed. So, I mean, just finding these kills through Divine Barriers is going to be a bit of a problem. I think a really nice recognition of the itemization from Abrahams.
Yeah, I think that's also why we've seen Pocket a little bit less, but hold the phone. OCs, are you caught? It's not looking good. Able to, you know, card trick away. But this is going to be a full escape here for OCs, who's still really, really low. And yeah, gets the cover here, and it's Overseas coming on in. With the Holiday snatch from Flammable. This is going to turn into a pick here on to Together. little bit low, getting beamed down. Real tanky here as the Abrams. Nonetheless, Rejuve's still up even if he does go down.
So tanky, and if Together gets out of that, man, I mean, you're pushing all 3 walkers right now. Abrahams were ready to sacrifice some players for this one, and they may not even need to. So kind of completely insane that Abrams can get away with that. They're keeping all this lane pressure on. The mid lane, though, D-Mob goes down once and looks to be in real trouble. Yeah, not the place you want to respawn into. Love Overseas play this game. I mean, really, really nice in the Bebop, getting tons of value in these team fights. Is it going to be enough, though, as, yeah, hooked, pulled in there by the chains into Infernus, and I think Shiv is just going to be burning down from this one.
Yeah, Fremont can know where to go, but back to spawn as Sanya coming online here. 27k Infernus. Overseas doing the best to even the odds here, but low HP and just completely gone while trying to get something in turn. Now, no, 2 rejuves are still up here for Abrahams, too. And when you have 2 down, 2 rejuves left, this is the one time, Jake, where you feel confident being like, yeah, we want to get mid-walker down because you need the sort of advantage to actually take it nowadays.
And crucially, no ultimates, right, for the defenders. They have nothing to really deploy that is going to radically change this fight. Still, though, the way Abrahams are positioning says to me they want to play this a little more cautiously. Farm it up, expand the lead, just lock it down. And honestly, that's been a place we've criticized Abrahams in the past, right? Like, sometimes with the lead, they don't make the cleanest plays, they make some mistakes, and give the enemy team like a new lease on life, a new chance to come back. And this time, it's very clinical. They're just expanding the farm lead, picking off on the map. Fighting the mid-walker is probably like the one way you could lose this game as Abrahams with this kind of lead.
When we go back to ABL's point of view, one thing I really like, the reemergence of Alchemical Fire. I think it's an underbought item in general, but itemization-wise, it makes sense. And actually, there's 2 of them, right? You got Taz with Alchemical Fire, you got ABL with Alchemical Fire, and people realized just how good this item is. Maybe so, as ABL getting up close and personal with Pocket right now. No briefcase, no problem. And the HP just isn't moving. Okay, you've gone lassoed.
Stomp on the tower, though.
Walker.
Surely this is enough.
Well, nope. Counterspell comes in. ABL, he's still going in.
You can't.
Swinging away.
You can't tell me that's normal, man. How does Billy live that? He's like full tanking under the Walker Stomp, and he's still relatively healthy. So the itemization, I mean, the stat check is starting to be online. Wraith, Desperation now has to force something, has to just find some kind of play on this, but there's no chance. Together's way too tanky. The help is there way too quickly. And Abrahams could be moving toward the close of this first game. I mean, it's just the start of the base push now, but 20 seconds of free pushing essentially on the clock here. How much can they get out of it, TP?
Well, they're up 40,000 right now, and realistically, I think they could go all the way to the patron drop, but we'll see. Right now, at a minimum, they're getting 1 shrine, ideally 2 shrines, but with Dynamo and Page backing out pretty early, and it's not like they were low HP, it's kind of signaling that Abraham still wants to play this a little bit slower. They have faith in their lead, and for now, Jake, caution is the name of the game, or so it would seem.
Yeah, they don't try to go for the drop here. Just taking a shrine will be enough for them. Infernus will be a great target to catch to start the fight, right? He doesn't really have that tankiness. Shiv's on top of him. Getting these connections, counterspell is there, but so close to that execute threshold. Does stun the Shiv, but it's likely going to be run down here. And yeah, the Frozen Shelter guarantees it from Obakim. Very crucial pick, but oh, you're stuck into a big team fight now. You play too much here. The black hole is massive. Billy over the top, just laying in the damage. It's overwhelming. Leviathan start to crumble. Abraham down 1, but not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. They're looking to end the game. Karen now, CP.
They all group up, and Billy said, you called for a party? I'm here for the action. Also, man, oh man, that's why, long cooldown or not, I don't love using the dome just for the catch on the Infernus, especially versus the matchup, because I feel like Obakim had to have that moment of realization 2 seconds later. I was like, damn, I wish I still had my Frozen Shelter for this situation. Oh boy. That escalated real quickly.
You're waiting to drop the shelter and realizing, oh crap, the enemy team is not running away. They are surrounding us. And the icy prison doesn't last forever. Leviathan are going to have one last chance to make a defense here after the patron drop, but it's looking quite grim. I mean, the question is, do Abrahams try to end it here? Do they go for it? I mean, they're doing the earn right now, so there won't be that much on the map if they do back out. Just a bit of farm. Maybe that'll be enough, though, to dissuade them as they're clearing waves, they're setting up the map, and they just want to lock this one in with a nice team fight out of base. There's a ton of sinners out on the map. I mean, this lead could really explode, and we could just see Abrams pushing with like a 60, 70K lead here.
I think the other problem here, Jake, like we're being honest about where the stats are in the game. How do you kill ABL if you're Leviathan? Like, what level, what mixture of things do you have to put together to kill a goat? And that's without
all
considering
of the, things,
the rest of the
CP,
team. You know?
Literally everything. Just press every button in the game and he will die. Question is, will you win the team fight? That's
No.
Probably not. Probably not. It's not looking great if you. I mean, but that's the point of the game we're at, right? We talked about the threat of this really potent front line, and I think Empty Dreams just doesn't quite have the farm, honestly, to be the difference maker on Pocket. Like, even with the Affliction, now that Divine Barriers are out, Affliction just isn't reliable on some of these, very farmed frontliners. Even if you do get the connection, like, they might just be able to live through it.
And that's where Pocket struggles. I mean, not only is Pocket's laning significantly worse in this patch relative to most heroes, because he was one of the heroes most affected by the laning change, but the fact that itemization-wise, teams aren't afraid to, pop out 2 or 3 Divine Barriers really hurts the ability for Affliction to be huge, because, you get 2-man Affliction, well, you got 2 barriers for it. What do you have now? Like, Pocket is not that good of a hero if you're not getting value off Affliction, so I think making Pocket work is hard.
OC's in trouble. Here comes Overseas over the top. Has the knockdown on him. Just barely makes it to the floor in time to deny the long stun. But Abrams still on top of them, still forcing this fight. Frozen Shelter is out, delaying things for now. But, I mean, Together is so tanky. He's tolerating all of this damage, still at half health. And if Furnace is starting to deal the damage, that Silencer picked up. I mean, he is devastating on this hero. Incredibly farmed right now. And a couple more kills could be disastrous. Leviathan falling outside the map and maybe out of this first match, ZP.
They're running out of options right now. They're down 2 players. Abraham's, mid boss is up.
I mean, why not?
All you do, yeah, mid boss and then ram it down middle. And frankly, I mean, once you get into the base, if you have 3 rejues at this point in the game, you don't have to look at the other team at this point, Jake. Like, you actually can just go on the patron. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know that Kelvin is even going to have the Dome online. That would be like the one tool that makes you think twice about all-inning the patron, right? The ability to drop the Frozen Shelter. Here comes Leviathan, though. They want to force the fight here and now. It's desperation mode, but it's desperation time in this game. All 3 rejus go against them, and Leviathan are just getting picked apart. No one on Abraham's is low. And game 1 coming to an ignominious close here as Pocket falls as well. And yeah, that's it, man. Abraham's just going to swarm this down, finish the game.
What can you buy with 55,000 souls?
You can buy your full endgame build. Like, you can't have full tier 4 items, but you're gonna have like every economical item that people have determined is good for your build. It's gonna be online. Like, you're gonna have whatever you want.
That's almost enough to buy a Bitcoin bucket.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because that's the lead I see right now, and it's still growing. This is kind of gross. Abraham's just finished the game, right? Why isn't it done yet?
It's over, man. It's just a matter of cleaning up the waves. I mean, Leviathan are doing what delay tactics they can. Abraham's doing some stat hunting, sending a message here as this is only game 1 in a best of 3 series. Little black hole, solo onto flammable. Public enemy number 1, and Wraith just gonna farm out, trying to clean a lane. ABL hoping to get that kill before the match ends, but and they're even delaying so ABL can finish the kill. No. Oh, ABL goes down. All right, OC's got hands, but it's just not even close to enough, man. Abraham's really clinical match, closing it out in style, and they look to be as good as they've ever been, maybe even better. I mean, like, not making any big risky plays, expanding the lead little by little, just the boa constrictor. And honestly, that makes this team such a scary opponent to play against. You're really hoping for the Abrahams when you go up against them that maybe is a little bit sloppy, maybe takes some gambles, maybe goes for the 6-on-6 mid boss. But that was not who showed up today, man. They were very, very well practiced.
Are Abrahams just that much better at drafting? What is separating this European team from the rest of Tier 2, what it looks like here, ZP?
I mean, look, I think the draft win is hard to argue at this point, particularly the fact is that so far, I don't know what the exact win stats are, but I feel like I haven't really seen a team lose if they are able to get Abrams Billy, or if they do lose, it's because of gross misplays. I don't think you can give up those 2 heroes in conjunction. You just get pushed around way, way too much. And even having a Shiv, Kelvin, wasn't enough. Like, the game has changed enough that Billy is the one kind of deciding the plays when you back him up properly, especially because it wasn't even just the Billy Abrams, but they also had the Page here who was making the dives and survivability for both ABL and Together just out of this world.
As we take a look at some of the highlights, chat, I love the fact that we have over 1,900 people watching us on Twitch. We have even more hanging out over on YouTube. What I hate, though, is the fact you're hyper-focusing on one man's comments from many months ago. There are 12 players on the screen. There is a brand new meta. Can we stop talking about how immature ABL was? We'll send him a strongly worded letter. You can personally write to his manager, but keep it out of the chat. Let's just talk about the game from now on, because you got 2 fantastic casters and 2 more games. That's right. 2 more games are coming up because Leviathan is winning this next one. Jake, aren't they?
I mean, I did like the draft. I think maybe the Shiv Kelvin shockingly has fallen off. I mean, it's crazy to say, right? This was the top 2 dominant pick for what? Like, as long as we've been running these tournaments, I feel like it really has been Shiv and Kelvin in this game. I mean, the lane went all right, but even that wasn't enough, man. Abraham's found the answers to that. So I think for Leviathan, it's a bit back to the drawing board. There were bright spots though. I feel like Overseas really impressed me on the Bebop. I mean, huge value out of his ultimate time and time again, tons of opening kills off hooks, tons of great initiations off of that. Maybe if OCs can find a hero that uses the farm a little bit better, like Wraith got there in the farming, but just the front line that was on them, the amount of lockdown from, we talked about this, but basically everyone, right? Every single character on Abrahams has some kind of stun lockdown, and Wraith could just never get to that point in the game where she can actually do the damage she's been training for.
Insane stats on the left side of the screen. ZP, who's your MVP from game 1?
MVP for game 1, I mean, it's got to be ABL. I think the frontline performance was ridiculous. Obviously, I think it was really backed up by D-Mauve and Saint. I think the goal here from Abrahams is that we never lose a fight where we just W-mouse 1 into people, and that was pretty much how it went down. I think for Leviathan, when you look at things they need to improve, Overseas, of course, played phenomenal. I think Overseas is having one of the best days I've ever seen him have. I didn't believe in the Pocket. I think the Pocket had a slow start, and I think had a rough finish when Divine Barriers came to play. I think for OCs did not have room. Like, even if you get even more farmed than the Wraith, you were getting pushed around the front line because Shiv Kelvin, as heresy as it may sound to say right now, it was not enough. Like, times have changed. So I think you needed a little bit more meat in this lineup. I think the part where if they had to change something going forward, I think Bebop or Holiday, both, and then like doing double playmaker at the cost of not having extra frontline seems like death in this meta. At the very least, if you're gonna go double playmaker, make one of them a Mo or something.
Boom. All right, Chad, that was your last warning. The ban hammer's coming out. Fuck off. We don't need all the haters. We want the winners. And they're staying to the other side of the commercial break because we got game number 2. Jake's going to tell you why game 3 is coming. It starts with the draft. It's all fun and games here on the night shift. Quit being political, you douchebags. ABL, grow up. Stop. Welcome back to the night shift, everybody. I've been told by production that discussing whether or not racism is bad is good for engagements and helps with our sponsorships. If you're like us and agree that racism is bad, let's move on with the show as we get into game number 2. We got Jake, we got ZP on the mic. We've got 12 players playing for $600 plus any of the donations that come from the link below the stream. Jake, as the CFO, it's pretty awesome to see the community step up since we've started Deadlock Night Shift 17 weeks ago. How much do you think they contributed?
I don't even know at this point, man. It's been crazy to see.
50
we're
billion.
working on 50 billion.
Around there.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We're all rich. I'm
That's the
done.
number
I'm off the
ZP
show.
typed.
I'm off
Yeah.
the show. I'll never see you guys again. I'm moving it all to an account in the Cayman Islands.
It's crazy.
This
It's
is
crazy.
my time. I'm going crazy with it.
I do want to give a big shout out to the Europeans, though, tonight. Both of our games started right on time. And with a potential final game on the horizon, if you were by chance a North American streamer, player, one of the other, or both at the same time, I would say get ready for your matchup. Because ZP, Chad is saying this is not going to a game 3. Leviathan is already bones.
Well, the thing about Abrahams is that Abrahams doesn't always lock in when they can immediately take down an opponent. Like, they get a little bit silly with it, especially when they're up 1. So if they're going to
Magic
do a little
carpets.
bit, they'll do some weird things draft-wise oftentimes. And also Leviathan, they got a crash course in why it's bad to let through Billy, Billy and Abrams at the same time. So they're probably going to deal with that. My guess here, even at first ban, they'll do what they did back in the challenging match, and that they'll probably ban Billy. That'd be my guess.
Don't waste my time.
Oh,
Nope, Wraith. So
What?
the only one that was really
What?
competing with Infernus for top damage?
Wraith
What's
first,
happening here?
man. Wraith is like, I mean, I get people are picking it maybe because it has great, like, in theory, you can make use of both the gun and the spirit damage spikes in the early game, but it just has been lackluster, right? Like, Wraith just hasn't been able to live long enough to deal the damage. Like, you're just getting popped. on Wraith in a lot of these team fights, or just not even entering into them whatsoever. So really surprised to see that as the opening ban from Leviathan. But maybe this gives them, okay, I was thinking they might do an uncontested Infernus, but instead they go Abrams with Billy out.
Abrams
that is one of the premier frontliners.
All right, so we go instability here, ZP,
All right,
or what do you want me to do?
How dead is Shiv Kelvin?
I think you go Shiv.
Dead.
I think they do
Murdered.
Shiv. I don't necessarily think they do Kelvin. I think Shiv and Furnace would make sense here because you get Shiv because you need to secure some of the front line. You don't want to give up Abram Shiv and like just not have anything for front line. And then you also get Infernus because Infernus has like a pretty good matchup against Shiv in general as one of the heroes that like not only is good carry wise, but also, is uniquely a little bit better against Shiv. So I think you do the Infernus here and okay, they go Vindicta instead. So that's a little bit surprising. I think for Leviathan, the snap counter here, one of the two coming in next is Infernus, especially with Wraith off the board.
Jake, we are now up to 600-250 for each region after that $5 tip. A little bit adds up, everybody. A little bit adds up. Shout out to Nocturnos, who's coming in with a $5 donation. We have Mirage selected on the other side. No surprises here for ZP.
Has Mirage even, been made it in? I think Mirage is really top tier right now. Another one of these really solid, like, split both gun and spirit damage carries, which seem to be defining the meta right now. And Leviathan get kind of the top two from my position, my perspective rather, in the carry position. I wouldn't mind seeing like a Viscus for Leviathan later in the draft too, because I think both Shiv and Vindicta, like some of these saves that Viscus can provide with the cube could be great. Some of the lockdown Viscus offers also can make it awkward for Shiv to, use his mobility to get out of trouble.
Paradox locked in. That's trouble. I'm calling it 2-0. It's done.
Jazz is the GOAT on Paradox too. So like
you got Shiv, you got Paradox.
Oh, they banned the Viscus. Okay.
Ban Page.
So what does that mean D-Mob's playing? Is he going back to his robot friend with the black
I don't know if D-Mob's hero's picked yet, right? Because
Dynamo?
I wouldn't mind seeing
Dynamo before.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Dynamo again. You don't have the Billy, so you don't really have the best setup. I like this Warden ban because this is one of those characters that, can kind of put Mirage and Infernus on the back foot, make them kind of run away, disengage the fights, especially with this new gun Warden build. The minus spirit damage from Infernus isn't going to be the end of the world. And Abrahams get the Yamato. This is a very aggressive comp that they're lining up, but if they can kind of open up in the early game, they could really take over.
ZP, when we had an MVP earlier, it was to overseas from Leviathan. He did it on Holiday. Does Holiday make it back in?
In this case, I think it's probably going to be Bebop. If anything, you picked the Mo and Krill, and overseas also looked really good at the Bebop. Maybe you go in the Holiday. Like, you could go either or. I think you now for Leviathan, though, they're going to be able to put Freemock on the Mo and Krill, which has been one of his best heroes. You get that for a little bit extra front line. It works out really well with Bebop if you get the pick, but instead they go Holiday. So probably no Bebop. Instead, it's going to be overseas Holiday, Mo and Krill there. So interesting. And I thought the Bebop worked out really well last time, but maybe just having overseas in the Holiday makes more sense than putting Flammable on it.
Production, can we pull up Jake's Twitter? I know we got to finish draft. When this is done, can we pull up Jake's Twitter? He had a very nice, thank you for letting me cast my first grand final for that, Mr. Rex Morello. I had a great time here in Sweden. But it was a fucking awesome shot because the entire venue was packed for people watching Overwatch 2. Jake, what was it like casting with a sold-out crowd of Swedish kids who might have smelled funky like fish?
Look, it was awesome, and honestly, the crowd was great. It was people from all over the world, man. There was like a ton of fans came from Japan and Korea to cheer for Crazy Raccoon, which kind of blew me away hearing the like 3, 2, 1 Crazy Raccoon fighting cheer. It's like, wow, it's wild. People came out from all over the world to support. So it was great. We got Matt, my co-caster, in the chat. Pretty dope.
Yeah, and you were there in front of 20,000 plus. Now you're casting in front of 1,758 people on Twitch.tv.
The lights are bright. I'm
Do
shaking.
not lie to the viewers in my chat. Who wins this game? Who has the better draft?
Look, this is a very Abraham's draft. This is like exactly what they want to be playing. And I will obviously say, like, they're going to be the favorite. They're the team that's been around a long time here in EU. They've stood the test of that time. Leviathan, though, has had moments that have really impressed me. I don't know that this is going to be their week to win. Frankly, I'd say the odds are against them, just considering how solid Abraham's has been, how consistent they've been, regardless of draft. But I want to see some strong performances out of Leviathan. I think we did see some good team fights. That game was closer than a lot that Abraham's have played. So Leviathan is a roster that really interests me for the future. I would be really impressed if they were able to even force a game 3 in this, like, kind of their first week with this new look. That would be amazing if they could get the win, like completely incredible. but I'm more thinking of Leviathan in the longer term as, you know, you need to build into competing with a squad like Abraham's, right? Like they are kind of alone at the mountaintop considering the amount of time they put in, the consistency of the roster. You add a player like Demov in. I mean, that's ridiculous, honestly, for Abraham's. Like they're probably going to run the table for quite a while. It's going to take a team that really works hard to surpass them. I just want to see more out of Leviathan. Like keep showing us these good team fights, strong laning. Show me that you have the potential to compete with Abraham's. You know, this week maybe unlikely, but hopefully in the future, over the weeks and months ahead, they can kind of close that gap.
ZP, is there any cheese right now? I know you've been grinding the ladder. You're afraid to stream because you don't feel you're high enough, but I think you're a great player, and I want to know, what item is ZP buying for his build? What is something that could change the game for Leviathan going into this game too?
Well, I'm not so much sure about item builds here, but in terms of Leviathan, I actually think Leviathan's going to take this to 3 because I'm taking a look at this here. I think you get Mirage and Furnace, and you still have a good frontliner in Abrams. You have Mo and Krill. Like, yeah, you kind of overinvested a little bit in the playmaker side, but I think your actual ability to win this game, if it goes remotely late, is so ridiculous that so long as you don't just Omega lose all your lanes to Abraham's, I actually think Leviathan has a way, way better draft here. I think when you have one side like Mina Doorman and the other side with like Mirage and Furnace, I'm not loving it right now. Like Mina is like does have a very unique power spike at 4.8k where she's really damaging, but then she falls off hard the rest of the game. Doorman gives unique opportunities, but all in all, this did not seem like a draft that Abraham's wanted to go into from the beginning. I think Leviathan, this is as good of a chance as any that they're going to have to bring this one back.
Abrams keeps coming, in the words of ZP. So does game number 2. We've got Leviathan, Abrams, and maybe a game 3 on the way. Here we go, casters. Take it away.
I hope so, Puckett. I think Leviathan, I think you're right, CP. They have insane carry potential this game, but the question is, can they weather the storm? Abraham's hitting them with a very aggressive early game draft, right? Like when Yamato starts hitting these power spikes, Shiv as well, they are going to be absolutely deadly, running over you on Infernus and Mirage. And the question is, can the rest of Leviathan, can these heavy playmakers, can you crucially, I think, pick off especially Shiv and Yamato, stifle their games, put them on the back foot, get them to the point where they just can't stand toe-to-toe with Infernus and Mirage any longer? That's your way in. And honestly, I think a lot of is going to be on Overseas and Obakim. I'm happy to see Overseas on the Bebop again. I think he was fantastic last game. I think Obakim on the Mo is also going to be a problem for ABL and Together in particular, right? Locking down those heavy frontliners, letting the damage pour onto them. So I want to see Leviathan put up a game here and send us to a game 3. But again, Abraham's, they've been so consistent, so strong week in, week out. No matter what the draft is, I almost can't bet against them.
ZP, before we jump in, a big shout out to everyone in the chat. We are up over 900 subs once again, on the road to 1,000. We appreciate all the support. This is week 17. It's funded by us. We're looking for sponsors. If you work for someone who has money, we'll take it and integrate them in the show. We did great for Trolley. We'll do better for you, I promise.
That's right. You have an idea, we'll put it on screen. But right now, taking a look here, this has been a tough start to the lane for Demov, who's just getting poked on all ends. You know, health is your currency early game, and rough go here Doorman wise. But also, as I take a look at this here, Jake, I look at this comp, I think this is actually going to be one of the toughest games ABL has had, potentially, because there's so many you lose Yamato cards on the field here, whether it be combo, whether it be running into Abrams, whether it be lasso, getting hooked, even, you know, getting tornadoed at times by Mirage can be a little bit rough. So I don't know, for ABL, especially in a patch I think is a little bit less Yamato centric, this could be a really tough game.
Yeah, potentially could be a little bit more challenging to deal with some of these like heavy lockdown back to back to back. However, I think that's kind of all going to be forgiven. That requires Leviathan kind of reach that point of the game and be strong. I mean, Abrahams have gone a little bit, you know, more gambling than I would have. I would have, if I were them, pick something a little bit more stable with a little bit more late potential. But I will say there's a chance they just blow this game out of the water and kind of snowball immediately, right? If they hit those power spikes very early, things could be problematic. Mina taking a heavy burn from Infernus right now, though. And I mean, Mina, you do a lot of damage, but you do not have the HP to tank trades like that.
No, and Mina, it's so interesting right now patch-wise because, yes, her 4.8k spike is really scary, but you're also very reliant on getting just absolute value out of your Sanguine because things can go really, really bad for you in lane because you're also squishier because you're over-focusing at the 4.8k Spirit Spike. So, like, Mina, who's already squishy, is even squishier as you take a look at mid lane, Overseas Strikes, who has been by far the MVP for Leviathan today.
Yeah, I think Overseas, we'd love to see him have a huge game on the Bebop. And he's going for, at least last game was going for like that heavy spirit build with the Majestic Leap. So very focused on the ultimate value, which is actually not a build we've seen that much of, right? Really on this Bebop, but he makes it look fantastic and kind of like the new meta, right? And you can imagine in some of these team fights, like you don't really have stuns on the Abraham's lineup. Like really, I don't know if you have, technically, I guess the Doorman cart, but it's not really the most reliable. And you imagine a Bebop up in the sky, there's nothing you can do to get him down unless you start building into these knockdowns. So a lot of opportunity, I think, for Overseas to have that kind of a big game, especially in those first few minutes when the ultimate comes online. That's where I feel like the most important that you have some big team fights.
Right-hand lane, looking reasonable,
such
though.
a deep dive. Oh my God, there's the damage there. Oh, he's dodging. Oh, not quite enough. I mean, he's so deep on this, but Mina also zoning away, and it's actually a double kill in the side lane. So Abraham's doing exactly what they wanted to with this draft, right? Tempoing down, potentially looking to clean that first Guardian early.
And ABL is going to need the soul lead. Like, I think part of why you put the Mina here is you're hoping things go well, you get the spike on Mina, and you use that as a ramp for ABL. Because if ABL isn't working with a really big soul advantage here, again, I just think that the comp you're up against is one that's not very Yamato friendly to deal with, is the Love Bites proc at the very end. Another pickoff though from Fremont on the other side is Leviathan. Their other lanes are going pretty well. Even the right-hand side has gotten a bit trashed.
Yeah, but this is going to be a problem. I mean, Yamato not even forced back to buy just yet. One of the things I think is kind of interesting about this new soul change, right, where you get those health packs, is it kind of incentivizes you to stick around in lane even when you get low and kind of get extra value off of those heals. We'll see if that ends up mattering here for those players who just took a tough Guardian loss in the side lane. For Empty Dreams, I mean, that's going to be the question, is can he kind of recover this game? I don't think losing an early Guardian is as bad as it seems, honestly, especially in the side lane. And so while this is nice for ABL and Sanya, it does let them potentially tempo out. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for Empty Dreams game.
No, they are going to have to be really careful, though, in about 800 souls when that lane goes from, like, pretty high burst damage to, oh god, everything hurts burst damage. So there is a window here where, you know, Leviathan's going to have to play so careful in the right-hand side. But Remok goes in, does not obtain the buff. Overseas back in the sky. Place we're going to be seeing Overseas a lot this game, if last game was any indication.
Yeah, and Yamato now coming into the mid lane, getting active. Bebop could be the one to take this fight. Yamato forcing him to an ultimate, and it's not the most value here. Diving Guardian is really risky right now. I don't know that the team is really there, and beautiful timing on that hook. Perfect catch from Overseas, and this could be Yamato starting to pop in the mid lane. Those Bebop bombs really hitting, but now it's Abrams' turn to be very deep under the walker. They want this Yamato kill so bad, and they're going to get it.
That's
Abrams
tough.
doing God's work here. Fremont ulting over the top just to slip away. They do lose the Bebop for it, but that's a really nice shutdown.
It also kills some of the momentum that ABL had going. Like, part of the reason why you shifted ABL in the middle is that, okay, you're really strong off your performance on the right-hand side, but now off the shift, ABL dies, Sanya dies on the right-hand side. So the snowball that you're looking for by doing some of the lane swaps, like, you've lost some of your momentum on Mina, you lose some of your momentum on Yamato, you haven't really meaningfully taken away too much from Leviathan to the lanes they were already strong in, so the swap up here from Abrahams has not paid off, I think, the way they wanted it to at first glance.
Now, Vindicta on the side lane. Saint looking to get some big snipes and absolutely drops a body there, looking for a second. This one goes wide, though. Has that third connection and doesn't even need it. The power slash comes in, gets that kill. And the rotations are starting to really work now. Abraham's staying in lanes on low HP, and Together's going to say it's a little bit too risky for the moment. Falls back off this one. Oh, it just barely goes wide from Overseas, who has this laser, right? So we could see maybe a bit of a counter push. Leviathan bringing numbers to the side of the map. See if Saint can hold this on his own.
Leviathan doesn't need the win right now, but they need to survive. Like, survival is absolutely key, and Obakim may not have gotten the memo. Ding, ding, in from D-Mov. And this is the danger zone right now for Leviathan. If these lanes start getting out of hand, they may get too far behind to actually make it work, as once more into the walker goes ABL, cuts down Fremont right underneath. That is brutal. The walker's not exactly saving people this game.
Yeah, and Overseas using the laser defensively, but doesn't get that much done here. The doorman door just gets them out of trouble. Oh, they do find Taz, though. Hold on. And D-Mob getting a little bit pressured as well. So Overseas, I spoke too soon, getting some nice value on this mid lane, putting some counter pressure on. Now it's Together's turn, though, to come and get active here. He's healthy on this Shiv, taking some of these trades with the Leviathan front line. But the pin in from Abrahams, maybe, yeah, Shiv biting off way more than he can chew into this one. Leviathan all ults on CD here. But hopefully they're thinking about maybe putting some pressure on the mid guardian. The hook, ooh, way too close for comfort. Saint is going to be clenching on that one.
If that hook had landed with the Abrams and Mo backup, that would have been devastating. But you know what else is devastating? Empty Dreams is a 5.8k Infernus having to square up against an 8.6k Mina during the midst of her power spike. Like, that sucks. Like, that is not a lane you want to be solo up against, and you are hanging on for dear life. And for Abrahams right now, up 6k, they need to maintain this advantage because they don't win late game if it goes even. So this was part of their game plan here, Jake. The question is, can they execute it to perfection?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question now. Taz, very greedy build here with the farm potential, just all in for that gun power spike. Coltsack as well. So maybe Paradox could be part of the answer. We talked about that, you know, maybe there's going to be issues in the late game, but with the snowball this fast, right? It's almost a 5k solo lead here. Not too deep into the game. Taz could be that factor for like actually turning this into a bit of a late game character performance. We've seen him before with some ridiculous damage numbers on the Paradox, and I think definitely one of the keys to Abraham's success, right? How consistent he is across all the initiators. Speaking of initiators, Saint on a 5 streak right now, finishes down Overseas, who we talked about being like the hope for this game, a really crucial pick that this BL have a solid start.
Guys, are we sure Abrahams aren't cheating?
So far as we know.
So far as we know, no guarantees.
Okay. Just double check it,
so, man.
Because they're winning by a lot again.
It's all right now. The thing is, the comp they have, like, it should be winning like this early on. Like, this is priced in where we're at the moment. It's just a matter of, can Leviathan hold on? And right now, looking for the punish on the Mina. Instead, gets punished in turn.
Dude, his
it's so
is
tantalizing,
crazy.
Jake. She's so low, and yet she does so much damage in turn.
Yeah, he's got like the double power spike of both gun and spirit at the 4800, and man, it's a problem how much damage this Mina can put down. She might not be healthy, she does not care. Just going all in on the damage, and looks like enough for the moment. And I mean, oh, ZP, did you see the movement hack on Reddit, by the way? You see that video? I saw that clip.
No,
it was like,
no.
You can like do there's a cheat that makes you just like cross the map with like absolute perfect movement to take you from A to B. I'm like, bro, soon these people, the cheaters aren't even going to be playing, bro. They're just AFK and watching like a movie when the whole Deadlock match is being played for you.
Execute movement script.exe. You know what, though? I got faith in
play Deadlock. Just like, all right, go ahead, ChatGPT, finish this one out for me.
Look, I think Yoshi's going to devour people, turn them into eggs or something. But look, we're looking at the right-hand side. ABL in possession of the urn. Overseas, looking there for a hook if anyone dares turn it in. So not the easiest turn-in by any stretch of the imagination. We'll see if Abraham's able to negotiate maybe a trade here, or it just turns into a bit of a standoff. And Leviathan, they're getting deep into this fight here. They're looking for the Guardian while contesting the urn. And Empty Dreams is actually able to pick up the urn. Wait, does this just go to Leviathan for free? Did they just deliver that for Leviathan? That's crazy.
That's so nice, right? That's exactly what we needed to get back in the game. And I mean, here's the thing for Abraham's, like, yes, they're off to a good start. Things are looking pretty solid for them. Is maybe they catch this Mo? I mean, this is Mo we're talking about. Obakim being incredibly annoying trying to slip out of this one, but now the tether, yeah, surely. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, the snipes are still good enough, but getting an archer in, right, equalizing souls. This is a game that Abraham's don't just need early right now. They need to, like, actually crush the game. They need to finish it off really quick. Maybe they'll be able to do that, but a couple counter kills, right, onto players as valuable as Mina could start to turn the tide.
I mean, Saint has been playing out of their mind, and that'll carry on for a bit. The problem that you're seeing now, though, and it's going to become more apparent over the next 5 minutes, is that Mina's about to fall off. Like, Mina is not going to be enjoying her stay in the game as much as she has at the beginning. It's just the Mina power spike.
She's not as strong, right?
She looks good for her soul age at thereabouts, but no, I mean, there's gonna be a fall off in Mina's effectiveness soon because her power spike is more centered around like the early 4.8Ks. So that's gonna be a boon to Leviathan if they can keep it close.
Cooking? He's cooking. But hold on, the counter damage is good. The heal main heal's just not quite enough, but Mina did just pop Empty Dreams in the Inferno. Still, I think that trade it's all right though, I guess, but you know, net worth wise, Empty Dreams still more farmed than Together. And to talk about this, I mean, whether the Mina falls off here is, I think, actually a really crucial discussion because he's kind of carrying the standard bearer right now for Abrahams. Like, he's got all the farm. I mean, by far the most farmed on his squad and most farmed in the game. And I feel like Leviathan, they could just get those big mole paws on this little vampire girl. I mean, she could be in real trouble.
Yeah, and look, I mean, you get the early debuff remover because, again, you want to, maximize your ability to use Sanguine to get away. But, your burst damage coming out with Love Bites, it's not going to be as fearsome as the game goes on. Although I will say, in terms of economy allocation, Holiday's broke. Like, Holiday actually needs assistance at 8.2k. You have turned into a lasso bot, and, hopefully you get some knock-up pressure in off the barrels. But speaking of combos,
Shiv.
Combo over here, Shiv getting taken to the Woodhouse.
Just chopped up there. The ultimate combo here from Overseas and Obikim just deletes anybody. And man, Shiv without the debuff remover, like that combo lasts forever. Now Mina does get that Sanguine out. You'd think she'd be okay out of this one. Sticks around even to farm. Totally unafraid. And I mean, she's continuing to just climb this net worth. The question is, will that fall off really, start to bite, right? And I think the key question is, can you lock her down and kill her? But with debuff remover, it's not that easy to do. Like, that combo won't last as long on Mina. You have to be really ready with the damage dealers to be right behind Mo.
Also, we're prepping for a big old fight here on the left-hand side. Leviathan collapsing here onto the left. Abrahams, big call bell in from Dimov, up to the sky, sets up Sank for the execute on the free mock. 2, now 3 picks in from Abrahams, so that turns out well, and then some off the bell of Dimov into the assassinate, courtesy of Saints. So big for Abrahams and trying to maintain the lead.
I'm sorry, Vindicta just has a rush boundless. Okay, the damage from Saint is going to be crazy in these fights. We've seen some of those snipes hitting hard. I didn't realize it was boundless spirit hard. Smina's going more and more into the green items. I actually like this build a lot, getting that extra stamina online, further increasing your mobility, your survivability, getting some more of those HP thresholds online. And this Vindicta with the max, I mean, how much is the snipe hitting for? This has got to be like 800 damage snipes. Like, this is like half your health bar on most of the cast. Like, I feel like you could just solo kill with the snipe.
Yeah, you start getting to the point of like, well, just snipe. Don't care about the execute bonus at this point. Just continue the snipe. Never stop sniping. Also, never stop beaming. Nox Nostra on one side, Hyper Beam on the other. Empty Dreams, though, able to find Tass in the melee. Up 1 is Abrahams. And off to the right-hand side, Mirage may be facing the old 1-on-2 here in just a moment. But maybe not.
In these pickoffs, right, they will start to add up. Finding Taz. Mirage, though, what's going to happen when he comes out of this Baroness Hotel? Seemed like it was just defensive, right? Just getting them out of trouble for now. But the later this game goes, I mean, you do have a nice 12k soul lead, but an aggressive earn turn in, I mean, it's the type of gamble you're almost forced into because of this draft from Abrahams. Seems like...
I don't love it.
Yeah, he doesn't want... I think it's way too risky, honestly. He might go for it, because this is what we've seen from Abrahams, right? They are a team that really pushes the pace and takes big risks, even with a lead. Last game was not so much of that, right? It was much more of a stable style.
I think they're just going to deny. I actually, from how they're positioned, I don't think they have any intention on trying to turn the urn. If anything, I think they want to like trade urn on left side of map, use that to push right. Like, that seems to be the play from Abrahams here. I don't think they're foolish enough to try and go for the turn in enemy territory under this condition, but they have to defend the urn at the same point here because you don't want to give up your soul lead.
It gets awkward, right? That urn starts running away pretty quick, and you got to defend this walker at the same time. Still the counter pressure on the right walker. Very aggressive, and Yamato still holding this one strong for now. Mina, though, gets sent packing, and for all the farm she has, right, she just isn't that hero who can really stand up close under the walker, put that damage down. The risk is too great for her getting locked down, and here comes the lasso under the laser, absolutely cut to pieces. This is the together Shiv getting absolutely clapped in this game.
It's been difficult for the front line of Abrahams to actually stay alive because most of the front line is together and he's getting the kitchen sink thrown at him in most of these fights. Also, this could be, okay, Abrahams, they're having to spend so much energy, Jake, denying the urn. Like, they're actually losing positioning in a lot of these fights and losing map presence because of the importance of denying urn. It's a really rough spot to be in when the game is otherwise close, but the other team got an advantageous urn turn in.
Yeah, I mean, it would be huge, right? If Leviathan find the advantage urn, they're going to basically get it for free. I don't think Abrahams are in the type of position where they can be on that side of the map. By the way, I mean, Together has taken gank after gank after gank, and for all the damage you have on this Abraham squad, you really are struggling in the team fight, struggling to like endure through some of these fights. A lot of tick damage. That 8 stack coming in, that might be enough. Yes, he pops, man. OC's with the farm. This Mirage really starting to get active, and oh my god, Vindicta's going to take so much damage from these lightning bolts. Yeah, you've got to get out of there.
Mina looking for Mirage, but again, the burst damage isn't there the way it was early in the game. Flammable gets caught by ABL, but also, I mean, Flammable's still a bit broke. Like, you know, you're okay losing Flammable if you get 2 kills on the other side. Earn and control by Leviathan. This would be huge if they got the turn in. ABL, though, says no way. Instead, getting the fist from the mole. The call bell comes under from Demov, poking around the outside. Has to take the door to get away. And meanwhile, this is going to be an Earn turn in and an equalization for Leviathan.
Oh my god, the snipes! Okay, wait, watch out, watch out.
Don't take the zip.
God. Yeah, this cross. We need the Secret Service on this cross, man. Get down, Mr. President. But he's so far away. I mean, surely, like, he's literally on the other, he's on his high ground. How many sniping, man?
I love how Saint knows the angle. Like, at this point, you've been bopped enough against good Vindictas, realize the zip line is not safe. Like, it is not safe. You got to take the back roads, you know?
You gotta
like, yeah.
Stay out of the open, man. You need that cover. Big snipe on the Fremog, just barely lined up for the finish kill, but Together's right there to clean it up. And this is a big start to the fight, right? Finding some value. Paradox under assault
That's
here.
slow.
This could get weird now. Taz goes down. You have the start of a potentially a great fight. Infernus falls in the trade, though. Together getting that punish. Does still have that ultimate online. More damage coming in. This time it's Bebop falling, and Abrahams, this is exactly the fight they were hoping for. One that could help him clean up this game, but OC's on to the back line, has dealt with this massive glass cannon threat in the Vindicta, but some sloppy movement there. We'll see if that comes to bite him here as he got carded in a really rough spot. No tornado online.
This is a 1-star Yelp review coming on in right now. Like, this, you do not enjoy your time at the Baroness, especially on checkout, as you know, could have done without the vampire girl draining your blood at the very end. Not ideal.
I will say the Baroness does kind of delay the kill, and so you would have loved this to turn into a mid boss for Abrahams. And despite the positive kill trade, you're only up 6K, right? Like, this lead has been bigger for Abrahams, and we talked about this for Leviathan. Like, this is a phase of the game when, hey, the trades don't have to be perfect. They just have to be trades. You just can't give up like an entire dominating team fight around mid, lose mid boss. That's where things get out of control. But other than that, man, you're in, you know, kind of a good spot, I think, as we scale towards that late game. Especially we see OC's, he's putting down that damage. Like, he is achieving that level on Mirage where you cannot ignore him.
This is tough. I mean, even just in the last fights, the trades have gone better and better for Leviathan. Abraham's getting more and more out of their power spike, and this can be big. Are you going to get the catch here? In on the Taz once more. Taz has just been continually caught out in rough spot after rough spot. I mean, yeah, you're Paradox, you're looking for picks, you're looking for situations, but instead, the barrel comes out from on high. You're down 1, Leviathan up 1 here in a great spot to contest Earn. Equalization,
Vindicta over the top, though. You're trying to get on top of the Jib, not with Vindicta giving covering fire. And I mean, the thing about the Saint build is, like, if he's able to just sit there and deal damage, he's going to be, like, out damaging the carries in this game. However, Leviathan, like, if you know, it's the job is simple, right? Get on top of the Vindicta, kill the Vindicta, do not let her put those snipes down. And she really doesn't have the best tools to deal with that, especially if items like Knockdown start to come out on the field, or if Overseas just lands a hook, Flammable gets the lasso. You're almost insta-dead given the build you've gone for on Saint, right? No defensives pretty much whatsoever.
Also, you start hitting the problem here is, like, what should you rather have? Like, at this point in the game, you go to all else things being equal, like, Jake, do you want a 25K Mirage or do you want a 28K Mina? You're picking the Mirage every time. We'll see, because that's going to be here for the Earn. It is in. ABL has to drop the Earn. You get it. Fremog into a trip to the Baroness Hotel. Shadow form is up. ABL looking to make something happen. In off the flying strike. In on the Infernus. Chasing through the fire. Doesn't seem to care. Fremog, meanwhile, grabs the Earn. Leviathan, do they turn it in? They do.
Big parry.
Even if they lose Infernus, the parry comes on in. Infernus is still actually alive, by the way. Was able to make distance. So ABL doesn't finish a kill. Fremog gets the Earn turn in, and together, Leviathan, they are in this and more, Jake.
Absolutely, and this could start to turn into a mid-boss. You need some counter kills, or you need to get out of this engagement clean for Abrahams. Vindicta, though, way too low to consider helping into this one. Both teams starting to get low, though. Leviathan maybe risking some of those very counter kills we were talking about. Big power slash from ABL, but it's not enough. Abrams has that tankiness, and surely ABL dead to rights.
Or dead.
Or down, but do you have the HP or the damage to go into a mid-boss now? It's a little bit scary. And D-Mob finds OZs on the exit. That's probably the biggest kill you could get at the close of this engagement.
Thank you all for the Prime subs. We see you in the chat. We'll be reading you after the game. Also, reminder, we've got North America coming up and a whole nother broadcast next week. Lock in every Wednesday. Hit the follow button or subscribe button, no matter where you are. We'll be here. It's Deadlock.
All right.
CP.
So, Jake, as we take a look at this, Leviathan, they even things up. And again, as I look at the late game here, okay, Fremont gets top. That's a big pick.
All right, we talked about the follow-up. It's not coming so far. I mean, this Mina is just getting bigger and badder and is very close to like a spiritual overflow. Overflow rather. Just one more slot and could really hit this next level. ABL grabs Leech, spell record, Empty Dreams, and I think we're likely to see this contest come in. I feel like you cannot give up this mid boss for free, but you're up against a Yamato ultimate. Do you even have the option? This is a really tough call for Leviathan with the game on the line.
I mean, forget Yamato being in pit. Yamato's off at the walker right now, and we'll see where this one goes for ABL. ABL under pressure, uses a shout transformation while fighting Mo, and cuts Mo's head right off. As Warden sometimes says in game, Mo is dead. That's a voice line. Look it up. But also the fall through here. Oh, the lasso at the very end. Not enough to save Overseas, who dies from the knife bleed at the very end. But together, they have delayed him enough to lose a rejuve charge, but nope, not at all. Activates bloodletting, and now looking for Holiday in off the swap. Goodbye, good night. Abraham's back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and together very low, but he's got the triple barrier build, man. Like almost probably more than 1,000 bonus HP in these fights. And the game's starting to fall apart now for Leviathan. They were keeping it down to a very small lead, but with this rejuve, maybe claiming more. Still, as they split around the map, 2 rejuves down. Leviathan, they can find a couple more. They could be right back into this game sooner rather than later. But they're going to need to start now. I mean, another walker push coming into the side lane. Abraham's refusing to back down in this aggression, refusing to slow this game whatsoever. And it seems like Abrams, next up on the cards, gets a pin in, but Yamato's still so healthy. And
wait,
okay, nice moves from Abrams, but okay, the burst comes in. Taz finds that kill.
The quickest detective you've ever seen in like the slide chaining. Actually, near max efficiency there, just not quite enough to turn the corner. But Abraham's, you got 1 rejuve left. You got to make the most of this. You got to try and add on to the lead. You don't want this to get even once more. Empty Dreams under the gun. Instead, just going to flame dash right on out of there. Debuff remover gets rid of the knockdown. Abraham's feeling absolutely okay here on the right-hand side as the Assassinate takes down Overseas once more.
And these Assassinates are just popping people. What's his next item, man? Is he going to go escalating? Escalating, get max stacks with the crow, and then snipe somebody? How much? What is the damage on that? We need a quick calc in the chat. And the spirit buff. Oh God, help us! I mean, everybody get to cover.
Oh, nope. Okay. Divine barrier.
Divine, boring. Come on, just buy more spirit items.
just buy more spirit, bro.
This is undeniably a really good. Undeniably. I mean, honestly, I think you proc spirit burn with 1 snipe. Like there is an argument for spirit burn here.
Yeah. Spirit burn, God, he just full purple. Like trying to think of like the best thing that's purple to go along into it, but burn right now. Off on the left-hand side, Abraham's looking at full contest here. On the left, Leviathan ready to take the fight. Zipline stun comes in. ABL gets the urn turned in, no problem. More pressure coming in here from Abraham. Still with 1 rejuve up. Can they get the punish? Be able to get flammable. 1 down.
Mina's hitting so hard. Overseas, kind of holding this fight down on his lonesome here. Will they be able to keep this one going? Abrams pushing across the map though and getting a walker trade for his trouble. And honestly, the 2 for 1, not the worst case scenario here. Leviathan, they get a walker out of this, they get some kills, but still the lead is pretty massive. That said, if Empty Dreams can kind of play his way out of this one, this could look at a couple missed shots actually. Infernus gonna get that explosion off. Does do a bit of damage, but ultimately is going to tick out. ABL finishes that one. And Leviathan, they get some walkers, they get some value around the map, but ultimately still feels like a bad trade. Still feels like Abraham's happy with that one, especially considering, I mean, Sonya has to be deathless, right? He's just annihilating this game.
Yeah, the interesting thing too is like Leviathan was so close to being in the spot they wanted to be. Like they had that incredibly good team fight, and then they overplay their hand. Like OCs goes a little bit deep, gets picked by D-Mob, leads into another pick, into Abraham's getting mid boss and going from there. Like Leviathan had done like in 80% of the goal here, Jake, but they just fumble it with a few misplays, and it wildly goes out of their ability to control the game.
Yeah, it's getting crazy now. It's going to be another 6K item here for the Mina. I don't even know what she's buying. At this point, you can kind of go with anything. Hiding play here from Bebop and Abrams, hoping to catch somebody off guard. Maybe Taz is the paradox. I mean, this is the kind of game you're in now for Leviathan. You got to get cheeky. You got to catch somebody rotating, being a little bit greedy. And there's a lot of lockdown here. ABL doesn't quite have that ultimate online. Ultimate over the top, following up this lasso, nuking down this Yamato ultimate, not quite
Huge.
online. She's a couple seconds away. She gets the ultimate. Is she going to pop it? Yes,
she got the
ultimate.
ultimate time.
And T-Mob saving. Oh, but hold on. The beam is still good. Maybe still going to be able to finish one off. ABL ticking down. That's a massive kill to find this engagement. Empty Dreams, still something to play for here.
And first is burning. Shiv right now in real danger from the burn from the side. Like already bloodletting in reserve. They need to use it. Knocks Nostra though in over the top. Looking for Bebop. Heavy damage off the love bites. Goodbye half of Bebop's life bar. And now looking for the in off the rake. Enough to finish off Overseas. But the rest of the fight, Abrahams is bleeding a little bit, Jake.
Yeah, these are good kills. This is the kind of scrappy trade you were looking for. A Mina kill would be exactly what you need. But right now it's Mina maybe cleaning up this fight, using every last bit of HP, just pumping damage here. And with just OCs and Obakim alive, now even the Mo stuck in the Baroness. Can he play his way out of this one? Uses the Majestic Leap just for the barrier, but it's just not enough. The follow-ups, very clean here from Abrahams. And they managed it. That one got a little bit scary, but the burst onto the Infernus was just too much. And I mean, this Mina, the lockdown just isn't materializing on her. Like, it's so hard to catch her with this debuff remover, with the extra stamina, the Sanguine Retreat. Sonya's like playing this lead immaculately, really carrying the game almost solo right now. I mean, the rest of the team is more or less just fodder, like keeping the fights going, finding initiations. I feel like Sonya has to be there for almost every kill, and yet he's managing it.
I just think about how different that fight would have gone if they were able to find just a little bit more damage on the ABL. Like off the initial engage, they had a real possibility, Jake, of a small window of burning ABL before Shadow Transformation. Yeah, even though they get ABL towards the end, they had to invest so much more time and resources that they weren't able to turn that into a winning fight, and also end up giving Mina infinite space to work with at the very end because most of their lockdown got used on ABL. So, you know, a bit tragic for Leviathan. And, you know, at this point in the game, you don't get too many more opportunities like that. Like, you lose another big team fight, mid-boss is gone, and so is the game. So for Leviathan, they're effectively on their final life now.
Yeah, the question is, do you want to try to get active prior to the mid-bosses? I mean, Doorman with this maxed out CDR, such a problem. All four of these actives giving a lot of value, ton of utility being provided here by the full spirit commit Doorman. Definitely a classic, and Demon really piloting it to perfection. So annoying to have to deal with, right? The Baroness, I mean, like a real balance, I think, of offensive and defensive utility with the Divine Barrier and all the defenses for himself. Feels like this Doorman is almost unkillable considering the HP stack and the amount of options he has to play out of some of these, you know, stickier situations.
This is the Abraham special. Now, I think the question is this full commit or bait? I feel like this is bait from the start. And oh, they go there, and then
they have the door. They have the door for the exit here. Punishing some of these players, coming in, trying to catch this fight, trying to punish. But instead, the punish is onto Infernus, dying first. That's a huge amount of the damage off the field now. And so Abraham's maybe looking to close out the game here.
Demon's so good.
He's over the top with the laser, putting down damage, but where's the follow-up? Not to be had. One carry down, the other in the Baroness Hotel. And it's all Abraham's in the feed. They lose ABL, but they do not care. They're going to do this themselves. And now, I mean, you don't even need to go back for mid-boss. You might even just push. Seems like they will go for the mid-boss, prioritizing getting that objective off the map.
Demon destruction. I have no other words for what we just witnessed there, where you use the door play to get the advantageous angle. You absolutely just mug Infernus in the street, so you get rid of carry number one in Empty Dreams, who's one of the biggest threats, and then OC's the other threat. The 41K Mirage gets the all-expense-paid trip to the Baroness right on after. That is absurd, Jake. Like, the level of play that Demov came in there to take away Leviathan's biggest threats, remove any hope of a contest, he made that easy for Abrahams.
I gotta say, guys, chat is low-key right. Where's the Mina fall-off, ZP? You promised us a Mina fall-off, and it ain't happening.
Okay, well,
she's at 60K. What the hell?
Look. When you keep 10 to 20K souls ahead, you can do whatever the hell you want in this case. And when it was even with Mirage, that's a different story. But look, off the mid-boss fight, Abraham's just dominated souls in this game, and that's too big of a lead to deal with. But look, you're right. The fall didn't happen. Just be rich. Just be rich, Jake.
Yeah, it's so many ultis now as the patron drops into the pit. A couple players just off the respawn. Leviathan, no position here, even in their own base. And Mina is just hunting these kills one by one. Fremont desperately diving, trying to get on top of this Vindicta. Bats over the top. Mo doing what he can to put some pressure down, but just gets absolutely sideswiped by this Mina. Infernus pops the explosion, saying a retreat though. And it's just all Mina, man. She's got server admin right now, absolutely taking this game over. A 13 streak, maybe more to finish the game. 14 for now. One more. The 15, the triple rampage. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. And Sonya Sniper, man, what a monster performance on the Mina. They go all in with basically one hero with late game snowball potential, and just somehow Sonya gets it done. Somehow untouchable despite the multitude of stuns and lockdowns being picked against him. He just evades them all.
She fell off into the MVP category. Sonya Sniper on Mina looking insane together, playing everything well, but this may have been his toughest game on Shiv. Saint doing his thing. Taz, best Paradox in EU? Question mark, ABL and DMOV, of course, closing out the Abrahams. Once again, champions of Night Shift 17. ZP, I know you just paid out the EU bros. How many times has Abrahams cashed out here from the Night Shift?
It's been a lot. I got more.
9?
I got more. It's been not only has been a lot. I got more payments heading their way. They're probably dealing with tomorrow. They were good sports about. We're like, hey, we need to get paid in crypto because we don't have normal bank accounts. It's like we'll figure it out.
For reasons.
We did
paying
figure it
our
out,
Russian friends in crypto. Did not see that one coming. ZP, walk me through the Abrams performance here. What did you see on both sides? I thought Leviathan was forcing a game 3 at about the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, and they were looking really, really good. I mean, if they kept it even, Leviathan did have a team that scaled better overall. The problem was that once they got even and got to the point where they would have been doing team fights pretty well, you had this moment where I didn't exactly see how it happened, but OCs gets caught by DMOV, and that one kill turns into like 3 kills, turns into mid-boss. And after that mid-boss, Abrahams just kept map control the entire time through, and Sonya was able to really extend their lead and go from there. Leviathan, they were really close, and it's just a few mistakes punished by DMOV go radically against them. And of course, the last mid-boss was a thing of beauty of just absolute assassination onto the Infernus.
Hey, I love that.
Chats. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love that doorman play, right? Where you force the mid-boss roar, you've got a door to like exit onto a high ground. The enemy team thinks you're going into mid-boss, and instead you're actually, somehow your whole team is all the way behind them, jumping on Infernus first. I mean, that's the kind of play that honestly we don't see much, right? Because it really requires a team coordination, planning, preparation. And yet that's also what differentiates Abrahams right now as the top team in EU. The reason they're kind of crushing these is, I think, those kind of textbook plays and the willingness to take risks with drafts like this where we were worried about their potential to finish out the game. But they believe and they make it happen.
Chat, who has the deepest hero pool in EU? My vote goes to DMOV. Another pop-off performance on the doorman. Sonya Sniper, though, earns the MVP for the performance when it comes to putting up digits. 4 different categories were topped, including a 16-1 KD. That ain't so bad, ZP. 14 assists to go along with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the early game started out well. It gave ABL a reasonable ramp, although ABL was not the star of the show in this game. Like, the front line was pretty significant, but Sonya was able to just continually be evasive, continually get good value in all these fights. And even when the fight was nearly even, all it took was a few plays from Abrahams and mid-boss, and Sonya devoured the entire map and got a much bigger soul lead that meant, yeah, maybe you're not so worried about, something like OCs, because just be richer. Either way, it was a masterclass performance that had really good execution at key moments when Abrahams needed it most.
A big shout out to everyone over on YouTube. Lemonardo XX says, good night, everyone. See you all next week. They forgot North America's coming up right after this. We're only at the 50-yard line, bro. We're at the halfway point on the show. In fact, we're still at about 48% because, Jake, we still have to crown an official MVP. Did I give you enough time to get your vote over to production?
Look,
who
these
are we
stat
liking?
screens, all right, you don't have to go far. I mean, Sonya almost hit the full rainbow in this game. And so, I mean, that's it's rare that we've seen, honestly, for a long time in DLNS, like the true solo carry type game where there's really one player dealing all the damage. Everyone else is just kind of the minions, kind of like keeping the team fight going, setting him up. Doorman's got this utility for him. But Mina is the one just knocking them all down. Like, very, very clean game. Pretty much no mistakes throughout. Took 1 death, I think, maybe in the early laning phase. Because what? He finished the game with like a 15 kill streak. Just annihilation, top to bottom. incredibly clean. And this is a character that's just been like nerfed. Question mark? I mean, that we were thinking that, but I mean, Sonya just showing the skill cap so high on this Mina, the playmaking, clutching, getting out of a lot of dangerous scenarios. There's no way he gets out here, you know? It's like, and oh, yes, he does. Insane performance here on the Mina.
15-0. That's like a rampage in the Halo universe. Pretty ridiculous way to finish out the game. Was there an item or a moment where the Mina just became overpowered? What is that game-changing moment when I take up Mina over on Deadlock in the alpha?
I'm gonna help you out, Puckett. Don't play Mina, brother. Don't play Mina.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
But I like it. Look at all this flying, bro. I got a fucking umbrella.
Stick to Dynamo.
Okay.
Yeah, is not
holes.
a hero for your little bro. You know, Mina is like the ultimate. Pretty much, I guess Mina and Pocket, I think, are maybe the high skill heroes right now. There's just so much playmaking potential, but it's all gated on incredibly low survivability.
But it's not.
Yeah, you get locked down. I mean, this is honestly, to me, Bucket, this doesn't even look easy. Like, this looks pretty hard. Like, all right, at this point in the game, you're just, over the top, AC 130, absolutely blowing up all the opposition. But I mean, I think a lot of this
damage.
comes
I could do that.
Abraham's ability to enable him, right? The divine barrier. So even if you do get the Mina first, she's getting saved by her teammate, getting pulled out of trouble. She's got the debuff remover early. Honestly, that'd be the biggest thing I'd highlight for people at home who want to play a bit of Mina is actually the early debuff remover. You look at all these damage items and you think, just build more damage items, I'll be fine. But it doesn't mean anything if you get slowing hexed and just delete it. You can't do any damage.
Or the way NA pub meta is right now, where if you, generally speaking, I don't even think it's that good, but you're gonna have a lot of people like spamming focus lens. Like, you actually need the ability to remove that off your bar so you can actually use your abilities, right? So +1 to the shout for debuff remover.
I'm a freaking Mina noob. If you are too, join me in the chat every week. We can learn together. This is night shift number 17, and we just crowned our EU champions with another $625 in their pockets. The Abrahams get their job done tonight. Over in NA, though, the return, Sneaky Golem, Bunny with Clock, BWC versus Sneaky G, ZP. Who you liking in that first fight?
I think Sneaky Golem's making the comeback. I think Bunny with Clock has looked actually awesome in recent times, like one of the quickest rising teams in North America. Reminds me of Melee Creeps on the come up, but Sneaky Golem doesn't usually get run over twice in a row. Like, this is a team that generally makes good adjustments and will usually come back stronger. So to me, I think it's gonna be Sneaky Golem's week.
And then for Melee Creeps, is my guy Ido, the streamer, is he still a competitive player? Did we convince him to stay on the dark side?
Yes, he's still here. He's still in comp. He likes the crew on Melee Creeps. Melee Creeps like him. And look, right now, why would you change anything? Melee Creeps have been winning it all. They've been looking good. And they get tested every week, but so far they've been coming out on top.
Oh, it's that point in the ocean where the brackish waters from the Atlantic, NA, and EU combine. Somebody says, I'm about to go smoke a spliff. The next one says, the fuck is a kilometer? Shout out to Vin Griner over on YouTube. We're going to a break. When we come back, we're switching some casters, but we got more Deadlock. Don't go anywhere. It's the night shift.